Hey, and welcome to Pass the Popcorn. Tonight's movie review is on the 1950 film In a Lonely Place. It's not rated. It's about an hour and a half long. It stars Humphrey Bogart as Dixon Steele, Gloria Graham as Laurel Gray. This movie came as a recommendation, uh, someone wanting to know my thoughts on it. Thank you. Let's see, it's black and white, which a lot of the great movies come from black and white movies. So Dixon Steele is a screenwriter that hasn't had much luck with writing screenplays. So he is given a book to read to turn into a screenplay, or what they call a picture. They didn't call them movies back then. But he doesn't want to read it. He's tired. He's grumpy. He doesn't want to read it. So he is at his favorite local restaurant, and the hat check girl has read it. So he thinks he's going to save him some time, and he knows she has read it. So he invites her name is Mildred, invites her over to his house to tell him about the story, so he doesn't have to read it. Tell him about the book. And she does. She's all excited, She's a young girl. She tells him all about it enthusiastically, and he's less impressed. Just not really his thing. So he gets his story. He's tired. He sends her home, and early next morning, a detective comes to his door to take him down to the police station. Mildred has been murdered, and he is a suspect. This is where Laurel Gray comes into the picture. She is Dixon Steele's neighbor, and they call her in. So Laurel and Dixon, give their story to the detectives and the police officers. But what happens is Laurel and Dixon start getting romantically involved. It turns into a love story. Dixon Steele is a man with a very short fuse. He has a very bad temper. And he gets in a lot of fights. He has a record of beating people up and getting in a lot of fights and getting into trouble. But he's this great screenplay genius, so, he gets a lot of respect as well. But the love blossoms between Laurel and Dixon, and it turns into a love story, but he's not his normal self when he's around her. He's loving and caring and joking around and all this. But anyway, Laurel starts to see his anger bit by bit, and she actually becomes afraid of him, and she really tries to separate herself from him. But I don't want to tell you the end of the story. I guess it was more of a love story than a mystery. It is rated as a drama mystery, but in my opinion, it was more of a love story and, love lost more than a mystery. Nowadays it probably would have been more focused on the mystery of the murder. But, it was a good movie. I loved the sets and the designs of the clothing and the hair and the makeup, and, real big it was made in 1950, but the styles of everything was more of the late 40s. But, it was very interesting to see the clothing, the furniture, and all that, all the sets. A good movie, a good story. Humphrey Bogart. I think this is the first movie I've ever seen him in. I would probably like to see some more. He's not the most handsome man, I didn't think, but maybe he was back in the day. But anyway, the dialogue was excellent. The dialogue between all the characters were really good. The characters were really good. It was a good storyline. A little slow, but, in the end, it was a good story. Let's see, what else? I would recommend it. It's safe for kids to see. You don't have to worry about it. There's no cussing. There's a little bit of drinking and smoking. That was a weird thing to see. A lot of people smoking inside, especially like restaurants and the police station and all that. Well, that was the time. But definitely a good movie. I would recommend it. I say I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Great dialogue, costume, storyline, production. Anyway, let's see. There was a scene about at a piano bar. I'm getting tongue twisted. There was a scene at a piano bar with a young lady playing the piano and singing. And I had to look her up to see who she was. She was Hadda Brooks, and she was known as the Queen of Boogie. She apparently had a very strong career on her own, and this was like a guest shot for her. But I love that music from that time. I don't know if there's a soundtrack for this movie or not. Really wasn't a whole lot of music. But some background music and all that. They really didn't do that, I guess, back in the early 50s. But yeah, take a watch. It's a good show. Thanks for the recommendation. Anyone else have any more recommendations? I appreciate it. And I will try to find it and give you my thoughts and opinions. So thank you for this one. It was a good movie. Let's see. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a good day.